Travis Wayne Goodzo. We have a guy in here who is purposely being an ass because he's peeing on people. And he just doesn't care. He wants to be taken care of in his homelessness. And yeah, he deserves to be put into a nursing home, but nonetheless, he doesn't understand why nobody wants to be his servant. If you're going to pee on people, you better expect them not to want to do you any favors. And so, apparently Mormons are ashamed of the gospel of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I keep doing videos pointing out the gospel and the doctrines of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and Mormons are unhappy with me. They keep putting the thumbs down. Now, I'm sure it isn't Russians, because Russians and I have an agreement, right? You would never stab me in the back or push me out a hospital window or poison me. Would you? Yeah, Russia, I've taught them Paleo-Hebrew. I provided them with the real church history. And literally, directly. Not just through my videos, indirectly. They used to follow me when I had my website before the church had bought out my company by having invested in the stock market in the company that bought them out. I'm sure it was just a coincidence. Had nothing to do with all of the thumbnail pictures plastered all over the internet that have now been deleted. And still, it's gone silent. Just that one Bright Ideas channel was the one I heard it from. And it's gone silent. The government cover-up. MAGA, you want a conspiracy? Go after that. Because all my old stuff gone. But yeah, it's kind of shameful that Mormons are Mormon only because they're Mormon. They have no clue what their own doctrine is. They have no clue what the prophets are telling them. It's just a feeling church. I feel it's true, therefore it's true. And you wonder why people are mocking you, criticizing you, condemning you for your hatred against other people, for not believing in your lies. And so today is Friday the 9/11th. Not Friday the 13th, Friday the 9/11th. And you're going, no, Travis, it's the 11th month of November. Well, you don't know your Latin. Uno, duo, tres, cuatro, quinque, sex. That's a fun one. The number of the beast is sex, sex, sex. Septem, octem, novem, decem. 1 to 10. And so, yes, Novem is the 9th month. And I think it was a pope who changed it to, we can Google search it, so I can finally figure out the information again, or reconfirm it, because I don't memorize. I use reference books. Makes it easier. But, let's see. Who changed the months of September to December on our calendars from the 7th month to 10th month? Yeah, it was the early Roman calendar, which was the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th months, but Here we go. 1752 calendar change, colonial records and topics. In fact, in Latin, September means 7th month, etc., etc. Come on. Okay, Americans are used to a calendar with a year based on the Earth's rotation around the Sun, with months having no relationship to the cycles of the Moon, or woman's cycles. Though my first wife did seem to correspond. And New Year's Day following on January 1st. However, that system was not adopted in England and its colonies until 1752. The changes implemented that year have created challenges for historians and genealogists. Genealogy, I am doing it, my genealogy. Working with early colonial records, since it is sometimes hard to determine whether information was entered according to the then current English calendar or the new style calendar we use today. Okay, the Gregorian calendar. During the Middle Ages, it began to become apparent that the Julian leap year formula had overcompensated for the actual length of a solar year. What? The Romans had bad fruit for their revelation of the calendar? Amazing. Having added an extra day every 128 years. However, no adjustments were made to compensate. By 1582, seasonal equinoxes were falling 10 days too early, and some church holidays, such as Easter, did not always fall in the proper seasons. In that year, Pope Gregory, it was Pope, the 13th, authorized, and most Catholic countries adopted the Gregorian or New Style calendar as part of the change. 10 days were dropped from the month of October, and the formulae for determining leap years was revised so that only years divisible by 400, example 1600, 2000, at the end of a century would be leap years. January 1st was established as the first day of the new year. Protestant countries, including England and Julian calendar. Double dating changes in, 1752. In accordance with the 1750 Act of Parliament, England and its colonies changed calendars in 1752. By that time, the discrepancy became a solar year, and the Julian calendar had grown by an additional day, so that the calendar used in England and its colonies was 11 days out of sync with the Gregorian calendar in use in most other parts of Europe. England's calendar changed, including 3 major components. Julian calendar was replaced with the Gregorian calendar, changing the formula for calculating leap years. The beginning of the legal year was now moved from March 25th to January 1st. It's the Julian calendar's December 25th, not our calendar 25th. That is hilarious. Oh my God, they did know the date. That is awesome. You just got breaking news, only known by me, as I just found out here, of the birth of the latter-day Christ. This fit perfectly with what I'm talking about in this video. This is awesome. I rule. And so, wow, that is awesome. And so let's get into it. Constantine. the Romans were having trouble exterminating all of the Middle Easterners, specifically the Jews. They destroyed the temple in 72 CE, but the people they couldn't extinguish, couldn't purge. And so by the time of Constantine in 3000 or 300 CE, you have, that is awesome. St. Patty's Day is the birth year of the actual Christ. And this just confirmed it. That is hilarious. So yeah, let me get this added to the 200-pound Egyptian gold plates, and we'll get back with Constantine and the Cairo. That is hilarious. And that's why the shepherds were lowing in the fields. And yet at the end of the year. Hilarious. You might need that one that I just saw there. It's still in file? Nope. It's been booted out this morning. Because that's for today that we're talking about in this video. That is hilarious. Because the Catholics know it by the designation of St. Patrick as a saint. As it was my ancestors who were the nameless sun gods, druids of England, British Empire, whatever they called themselves back in 300 CE, when they created the myth of St. Patrick. And so his death day is the birthday of the prophesied latter-day Christ that is being referred to by Joseph Smith even. And so Constantine had devised a plan, and he began by claiming he sees a sign in the heavens. And yeah, after what I discovered early this morning and did the video of that nobody's watching, nobody cares except for the haters who are in denial of Mormonism. Why, guys? Why do you not like the church? You're in it, but why? Because you don't like it, you disagree with it. Why are you in it? Is it just to go around and hate people? I'm a Mormon, screw you! I guess. So, but that is awesome. But it was the Cairo that he claimed he saw. And then Cairo are the two Greek letters, Chi and Rho. If you've ever been involved in a fraternity, you are aware of those Greek letters. And they're comparable with Paleo-Hebrew, as I'm the decipherer of Paleo-Hebrew, and thus the decipherer of Greek, because it's not phonetic. It's Victorian in its ancient meaning. And so, yeah, I can correct and fill in the gaps that Scott and Liddell had messed up by putting in Catholic meanings for Greek words because of their mistranslation of the Bible. But at least they acknowledge when it comes from a Catholic meaning. The church did this to me, and you realize that, right? This is not the best of circumstances I'm in. I literally am in Liberty Jail, or Carthage Jail, which Nelson intends it to be. And so, the meaning of Chi is crossroads. It's the Tau of Paleo-Hebrew, not the Tau of Greek, which is the T. Which is why everybody uses the T as the cross symbol for Jesus, whereas few use the X for Chi for the cross of Jesus, because it's the first letter of Christos, the Christ, in Greek. And so that's why you'll see people write Xmas instead of Christmas. They're not replacing the Christ, they're just shortening it to the first letter of Christ. And Christians nowadays get offended and they're upset, and they demand that Christ be put back in. He never left, he's still there. And it's March 17th, not December 25th. That is awesome. And but that is awesome. And so the cross has to do with the sign of the latter days, the first and the last of 3 days of darkness, 3 hours in the gospel stories. And the volume escalates. So despite the noise in the background that is increasing with this video, you have the location of the prophecies of the latter days, the signs in the heavens of the latter days. Because he's saying he sees a sign in the heavens, and he sees the signs of the latter days. And he calls it the Chi, because it's the shape of the Chi over America, as the shadow is cast on earth. And so it's the 21st of August 2017 and the 8th of April 2024. That's what he sees. And he refers to it as the Chi, because that's when the Christ is to be and restore the kingdom. And so as the Roman emperor, he doesn't like that. And so he replaces the Jewish Christ of Jewish prophecy literature, Jewish apocalyptic literature, books of Revelation. Just like the book of Revelation from John, it's the book of Apocalypse in Greek. On all the Gospels are apocalyptic literature. That's why you're having trouble making them literal history. And your only justification to maintain that false belief that it's literal history is to change the school systems and change science. And replace history with the apocalyptic literature. Not knowing that it's apocalyptic literature. And so that's what he's seeing. He knows, because he has priests, astronomers and stuff who work for him. He asks them, and they go, oh, yeah, it means this. Because this goes all the way back to the Egyptians. Way back to the beginning of mankind. And the origin of language and writing and astronomy that they knew about. Because 21st of August 2017 was the ancient Egyptian calendar New Year. And just like the screw-ups of the calendars, that religious calendar was different for New Year every year. And so for a total solar eclipse to occur on New Year has never happened ever until that year. And so for the story of Horus, who comes back, if you've seen the movie Gods and Kings, or no, that's Exodus, Gods and Kings, Gods of Egypt. It's a little wrong from the book. They didn't stay true to the book. But you'll remember that Horus gets his eyes plucked out, wounded eyes. And so now you can go back to your Genesis stories and see all the stories in which there's a person with blindness. Even Samson, the Sun King, blinded for his death sign. Exactly. I've gone over that with you, how it's the signs of the latter days, the 3 days of darkness, deaths. The 3-story deaths correspond to the 3 days of darkness of the signs in the heavens in the latter days, confirming everybody else. They're all talking about it. And so it's not some coincidental stories that are literally true, that have no meaning whatsoever with astronomy and science and truth and reality. They're true. It's confirmed with science and through research and investigation, which is, I know, a foreign concept for Mormons. They're used to just reading, pondering, and praying and getting a feeling and call up the Spirit, and they're good to go. They now know everything. And they get mad at me and put a thumbs down on my videos. Because they don't care about the church. It's true because they feel it's true. That's all that matters to them. And so when I go over what it says in Scripture, oh, no, that's looking beyond the mark, Travis. You're going into deep doctrine. If we're meant to know what's actually in the Scriptures, the president of the church will let us know. Do you see how you screwed up Mormonism? Dear God, guys. And so, see, wounded in my hands and in my feet. Just saying. Joseph Smith added feet. Section 45 of the Doctrine and Covenants. Having stepped upon the Mount Olivet. Or not Olivet, sorry. That's where my grandparents are buried. And will rise from the dead for the zombie apocalypse. Mount Olympus. On the day of my eviction, when I was cast out of Judah, Mormon Judah, betrayed by Judah, or Judas from the Greek, depending on which story of apocalypse you're referring to, with my 200-pound Egyptian gold plates. Dear God, I had that blister. I think it was this hand where the blister was, and now I'm bleeding from the poisons in the air from the drought. Upstairs, you're supposed to have the headphones so that you don't blare the music. You can do it downstairs, but not upstairs. But they don't care. Nobody cares. We're homeless. Nobody cares. But so is that understood for the Kai? Everybody knows. It's in the Book of Mormon. 1 Nephi chapter 1. That's 2017. The first year of the reign of King Zedekiah, king of Judah, put on the throne by a foreign government, Babylon. Yeah. What happened, Russia? Republicans are accepting the results of their loss. What's going on? Dragging this out. Very frustrating. I want to get out of here. And there are only 2 options of getting me out of here. 1, the church gets locked up. 2, a 9/11 event. It's 9/11. Where's the event? We're past 8 a.m. from the one on 9/11 here in America. I still remember that. I was working for the church in the returns department. And, we won't go into that. But I lost Peter Paulino that was on my mission. He had taken me to the trade tower where he worked. On my way home, he exchanged all my coins that I had collected by walking the streets. My companions were upset that they couldn't find them, and they purposely walked ahead of me, searching for coins, and yet, how did you find that one? I just walked right over that. I didn't see it. But, the homeless had been watching us. And one day, one of the homeless came to me and said, "Have you found any coins today?" I hadn't found any that day yet, and so I had to tell him no. But I don't know how much I had collected. Something like 25 to 50. I doubt it was 100, but I can't remember. But he exchanged it for a traveler's check, that I could take it back through the airport rather than all those coins. And now he's dead. And I have nothing good to say about the Bush family. And we'll leave it at that. And so I got distracted. Oh yeah, the Book of Mormon. And so the 2024, well, that's all over YouTube now. The church, as of conference, has shown Jesus physically appearing to the Americas. We've got the documents, the historical records from Galaxy Quest of Jesus actually appearing. See, Travis, you're wrong. Jesus is real. That's the fruit. Okay, right. I confess, I've been lying to you to turn you to the dark side of Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon. See, Mormons don't get it. You attack me, you attack Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon. Plain and simple. You've chosen to side with Brigham Young and the Danites, the evil empire seeking to overthrow this nation and replace Joseph with Jesus. And so, really, you're going to rebel? Bednar. You know he knew not to plagiarize. You know. And yet, he did it anyway. He's purposely trying to cause division among you guys, to weed out the weak among you. All of you apostate ex-Mormons. You lazy learners. They teach Mormons to be lazy learners. And yet, it's the Mormons who actually learn and study that find out the truth and are leaving the church. And Nelson calls them the lazy learners. Can you believe it? The audacity of that great and abominable Christ church false prophet, prophesied in Revelation and by Joseph Smith and in the Old Testament in Deuteronomy 18, verse 20. Just unbelievable. And Mormons still are being played as suckers and losers by staying in the church. You do know where sucker and loser comes from, right, Mormons? You voted for him because you'd rather be Russian than vote a Democrat. And yet you still don't believe the Book of Mormon is true? The first year of the reign of King Zedekiah, king of Judah, put on the throne by Babylon, that is seeking to destroy America? And you can't figure it out that the church is true? Joseph's church, not this one. The Book of Mormon is true. And so the row, 3rd Nephi 11:8, they're there at the Temple of Zion, talking about the sign in the heavens of the death, 8 April 2024. And then Jesus comes from outer space. It's the sign in the heavens of his death. It's all code, prophecy, apocalyptic literature. That's what ex-Mormons you're not getting. Yes, it's not literal history. It's a book of apocalypse. Yeah. Joseph Smith history? You're right. It's not literal history. But James Huntsman, why are you leaving the church because Joseph looked at rocks in a hat? Because Martin Harris said so. his history of the first vision, Nephi coming, John the Baptist, Peter, James, and John, and Kirtland with Jesus, Moses, Elijah, their visions and dreams, apocalyptic literature of the latter days. I've been doing the videos. Nobody cares. Nobody believes. Everybody rebels. And you know Mormons know the scripture. You're not supposed to rebel, because what's the consequences of rebellion? Yeah. And yet Mormons are defying death. Oh yeah! Bring it on! Smite me down! So, it's just unbelievable. So the row. Same as the R in Paleo-Hebrew. It's the flag symbol from the Egyptian, which is translated as the title of God. And so thus El, God, the Egyptians had the one symbol of a flag for God. And so Captain Moroni with the title of liberty on a flag. Yeah. Those who wanted to follow God. And not have kingmen replace God, the true Christ. Wow. Yeah, that's what the church wants to do, is replace us. Replace the Christ of Joseph Smith. And so, yeah, apparently there's no FBI or DOJ takedown of the Illuminati groups of Confederates. Likewise the church. So that sucks. This was the perfect day for it. Because Friday the 13th, that was the York or Knights Templar, which was incorporated into the York Rites as the highest rank, of which Joseph Smith Sr. was a Master Mason of in Canandaigua, New York, where William Morgan was working on the book with him at the lodge. And he got arrested on 9/11. So as a Master Mason, it was Joseph Smith Sr.'s responsibility to rescue him, have him flee the country, and take on the responsibility of finishing the publication of the book. But nope, it's not true, because it's literal, Travis. The literal history is what Joseph Smith gave us as apocalyptic literature. It's the same thing that Constantine pulled on people to turn against the Jews. Why he's the abominable Christ in the first vision. And you just... so frustrating. Because obviously I'm not popular to the lower generations. They can't be bothered with my information. I'm too boring. They don't have the attention span to listen to me, to hearken to me, even if the consequences of not are utter destruction. And even my YouTube analytic generation, I think it's 45 to 54, only the men, for the most part, which is not saying much, understand what I'm talking about. The women, there's more than the younger generations, but they're not listening to me. Now do you understand what kind of problems I had in my marriages? The women want to be heard, but they don't want to listen. It's got to be an equal partnership, women. Equal partnership. You actually have to listen, not just be heard. We can hear you roar, fine, but listen to us. We're trying to tell you something, and you won't let us, and you're abusing us instead. And you're leaving in the marriages. You're calling us the abusive ones, and you're the ones who are being abusive. But yeah, the older generations, yeah, the women are listening because they know what I'm talking about, or at least they've heard of it. They may not understand it, but they've heard of it. You know, like the death penalty. They were a part of it. They understand what I'm talking about when I say that this is the knife, and it's still in application today. They never took it away. That's the con. They took away the direct death penalty, but kept in the reminder. And so all of the new generation, it's there, and the covenants are still there for them to be loyal and obedient to the prophets. But that's where the brainwashing comes in, as the church purposely leaves out the death penalty part of it. Because it's coming back, and you're going to be horrified. No! And the church will say, yeah, it's been there the whole time. You're fine with it then. Why aren't you fine with it now? This is what it meant. Take your own life. You're being disobedient. Take your own life. Do it. Kill yourself. And if you're unfamiliar with the bullying here in Utah by grade school peers, yeah, that's what they're doing. They're bullying kids. Mormon kids are bullying other kids to kill themselves. Where would they have gotten that from? Oh yeah, Brigham Young's temple endowment. So yes, the fruits of Brigham Young are criminal. We know it's bad. It is not of any true God of love. And so, what Constantine did, he knew the sign of the latter days, 2017 to 2024. And he established a god, the Ro, to replace that future Christ. To replace the Jews, to replace the Jewish literature by turning it into literal history and replacing the Christ. And he came up with the Chi-Rho sign as that symbol, that secret sign from Helaman chapter 6 verse 22 to illustrate it. And then the sign in the heavens for this morning, the third day of the new Israelite Sukkot, the ingathering, the gathering of Israel for the latter days. Day 3, 4 more days, and then that's it. You've missed it a second time. You've missed the second Exodus gathering from the Great and Abominable Church. And you've already watched the videos where I've been frustrated with you for missing the first one in 2020. This is the second harvest. And you're missing it. You're rebelling. You're not listening. You're not hearkening. And yeah, I understand there are those of you who are trapped and in bondage yourself to the Great and Abominable Church and to the warped nation and the government and the economy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Which, yeah, I understand. For you, we actually need the fall of the Great and Abominable Church. It's prophesied. The church is desperately trying to do it themselves with their racist, sexist bigotry, hatred of the poor, hatred of the Jews, utterly thumbing their thumb at the world and government and doing the religious freedom movement to be exempt from obeying the laws of the land and going around telling other religions to do the same. They had one of the apostles out in Bali for the religious conference ahead of the G20. And so, yeah, the religious freedom movement was again pushed by the church there. And already China says they're not going to the G20 because he's got war to attend to. What? War? What? Yeah, he's got to mobilize his troops for war. That's what he said. And that was his excuse for not going to the G20, next week on the 15th, the end of Sukkot, the last day of the Exodus period time for the Great Gathering. And if you don't understand the prophecies, this is the big event that they're all talking about. And Mormons are rebellious, purposely wanting the prophecies to be false. They all want to be the 10 foolish virgins. They don't want to be the wise virgins. What is up with you guys? Dear God, you are so past feeling when you claim to be all about feelings. And so yeah, the moon is with Mars. Mars is Nelson, symbolized, because when Monson died, Mars was at the top of the scales of judgment. Which I'm kind of surprised, because Mercury and the Sun were at the top of the scales of judgment for election night, or election day. And yet, we haven't had an actual decision yet. Because back in 2016, the day of the decision, when Hillary conceded, there they were, right at the top. Or at least, And so that's how I knew that Trump was Mercury. And that the government is confirmed yet again as the government, as the sun is government, as the ancient Egyptians told us. So the right eye is for government when it eclipsed the death of America, is what it meant. And that's what I knew when I had heard about it from Fox 13 News Utah on November 4th, 2016. They were that early in advance to notify us about it. Which has me wondering, wait a minute, we're having an election to determine government, and Fox 13 News Utah is talking about the death of the government of America? The death of the king? The collapse and the fall? What's going on here? Do they know something they're not wanting to share? Especially when they watch my videos and put a thumbs down and say, no, you're wrong, Travis. Are you guys kidding me? You know, and you're still calling me wrong? Dear God. See what I have to deal with in this church? And so, as day 3, Joseph Smith in the Kirtland Temple vision during Passover was day 3, after the temple was dedicated. So Elijah comes to his temple, according to Malachi's prophecy, and it's too complicated to go further into the sign in the heavens for you, as we're at 45 minutes into the video. But I'll put it in here for you. Those of you who've been watching and have been catching on to how I reveal, as a revelator, the signs in the heavens for you, you'll catch on. But on this day is when it determined that the first Temple of Solomon was completed. And they didn't actually utilize it until the next year, though, but it was completed on this day, way back in the BCs. And Joseph Smith, Nephi, there's a reason why 9 on 22, which are 2 9/11s. This is the second. Next year is the bicentennial year of that event, and Nephi is king in code in the Book of Mormon. It's apocalyptic literature, because there's 1st and 2nd Samuel, which is 1st and 2nd Kings, but Samuel means name of God. The God name. What is the God name? It's the hidden name. Amen, Emmanuel. And so Samuel Lamanite, So when Jesus comes from outer space and talks to Nephi, it says, where are the plates of Samuel? They're purposely, this is apocalyptic literature, and so yes, you've got three same personages all talking to each other about each other. It's awesome when you understand the truth of what's going on and you know how to correctly interpret it as apocalyptic literature. Reveal it by a revelator who has the keys of revelation, the same way Joseph Smith got them, visions and dreams. But you're still pursuing Brigham Young. Why? Because you were born into the church and you'll die in the church? Yeah, you'll die in the church, alright. They're purposely wanting to murder you. I've been warning you. They're trying to murder you. Hearken to me. Save your life. Come with me if you want to live. Don't trust psychologists. They don't understand the reality of the Terminators. And so 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th Nephi, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th Kings. Joseph Smith Sr. purposely patterned it that way. And so yes, Sidney Rigdon was used to hide the manuscript, 116 pages of William Morgan, so that nobody else would find it. That's why nobody found the manuscript that he was working on. As they searched his home and everywhere they could, it was gone, because Joseph Smith Sr. got them to Sidney Rigdon out in Ohio. They had met previously, and they knew all about it. And so Joseph Smith Sr. used that relationship to get him to do it. And so nobody was looking in Ohio, were they? But linguistics shows Sidney Rigdon's the major author of the Book of Mormon. Despite all the ex-Mormons who want to deny, you can't deny science, guys. You have to factor in Sidney Rigdon as the major author. If you can't figure out how, because he was baptized in December of 1830, and he made certain comments to the supposed contrary. God. Unbelievable. See what I have to deal with ex-Mormons and Mormons? And so, yeah, there's lots of symbolism going on, and we're all gonna die.